Today I'd like to share with you 3 exercises I do with my dressage horses. To be completely honest with you, I don't do them at the level my horses are at now, but in the beginning when I'm starting them and they're coming up through the grades, I certainly do them. And like anything, if I'm having an issue, I will go back to the basics and work my way up, because that's how you will find out where your problem is. You need to understand your basics so that you can work out where the problem lies. I'd also like to let you know that you hear a lot of people telling you to do things one way or the other. The horse world is full of different personalities. My personal belief is if you have the horse's best interest at heart and you're doing the best you can, then you're not doing it wrong. There might be other ways to do it which may be better or may get you where you want to go faster, but in this moment in time, if you're doing the best you can and you've definitely got your horse's best interest at heart, what else could you ask for? So I'm going to share with you how I do things with my horses. I have a bit of a diverse background with them. I started out as an event rider, then I fell in love with dressage because I had an awesome jumping machine, and I realised if I finished on my dressage score I would be up there in the placings. And then I had some problems with a horse that wouldn't load in a float. And then I thought there must be another way, and then I went and worked with all sorts of different horsemen. So I think I'm a little bit of a hybrid. This works for me anyway, and I hope it works for you too. So these exercises are exercises I do before I get on and ride my horse, so they're done with a bridle. So your horse should already know how to give to pressure with the halter. If you're not quite sure about that, have a look up here and I'll link to the video I did with the 3 tools you need to get started, okay? But the horse should have an understanding of how to give to pressure in a halter. Now I hold my reins. Remember I told you earlier that people will give you opinions. I don't think it matters how you hold the rein. You just need to hold it, find what fits for you, and then work from that point. But I don't know why, but I started out this way. So the way you actually should really hold reins is for the rein. That's why our gloves have this bit here to come between those fingers and over with your thumb on it. Now, even when I'm doing groundwork, I hold it like that. I don't know why. I think I developed quite a feel, and I use my ring finger quite a lot to ask the horse to give. So I do hold it like that. I don't hold it like that. Whatever works for you is good, but yeah. So I hold it up here reasonably close. So now this horse should give to pressure, so I should just touch and he should give to the pressure of the bit. Now to me already, you can't see that, but to me he's not as soft as he is now. He's not as soft as I would have liked him the first time around. Okay, so he needs to learn that little bit first. Okay, so once he can give to the pressure nice and softly, he needs to give laterally. Okay, so you need to ask him to come around here, and that's awesome. I don't want him to move. He needs to stay where he is and not move his feet, because all I'm asking is for giving this way. He needs to be soft in the ring, in the hand here in the rein, which he is. So when he's good, you just release. So what you do on one side of your horse, you always have to do on the other side. We like our horses to be ambidextrous. Most horses have one way where they're more comfortable doing things than the other way, a bit like you or I are right or left-handed. And I always think about it when the horse has a difficult side, that you need to give him a little bit of leeway, because if I made you pick your toothbrush up with your non-dominant hand and brush your teeth, you wouldn't be very good at it. So they're not very good sometimes at working on their non-dominant. So just check that both sides are the same. And so he gives very nicely to there. He dropped his head quite nicely. I'd like him to have some lateral flexion and bend this way, which he's doing very nicely. Can you see that he actually, there's a little less this way? Oh, the flies are pretty annoying. So he needs to pop his head down to pressure, which he's doing nicely. And then I need him to give me some lateral bend, which he does quite nicely this way. I have a little more feel in the rein on the other side. So once you have your horse giving nicely to pressure, going down and bending nicely and giving laterally, the next thing to do is to ask him to pop his head down and then give him a go forward cue. He needs to actually go forward with his head down. So the way I think about it is the most important bit for me is always that he gives to pressure. So if he's going forward, I want his head to stay down. If he decides to try and bring it up, I'm going to block him on the rein, not pull, block him. And I don't care if he ends up going sideways or swings his butt or whatever he does. I'm going to be concentrating on the feel in my hand that I would like a nice feel in my hand. So let's see how we go that way. So, going to hold my rein. Personally, I hold it the way I normally do. I'm going to ask him to give, and he can give nicely, and then I'm going to ask him to go forward, but keep his head down. And you can watch my right hand. He tries to come up there, and I just hold it. So the horse needs to give to pressure, and then he can get a go forward aid. And he can go forward with his head there. So when he bumps my hand in there, I just block him, and then he gives to the pressure. I don't care about much except that I have a nice feel or no feel in my hand. Ooh. Good boy. Good boy. And then he gives to pressure. What you do one side, remember, you need to do the other. So I'd like him to give and give him a forward aid. And you can watch there, if you go back and watch this video, he keeps hitting my hand and trying to lift his head up there, and I just hold it. And this is why I actually like my hand the way I do it, because I use my ring finger. Ooh. So when he pulls up on the rein, because I've got it like that, with my fingers closed, I literally close my ring finger down firm, you can see, and I just hold like that until he gives. So I don't have to pull, it's literally my ring finger. So when you've actually, there, did you go back and watch that bit there? He actually pulled against my hand and I just waited until he gave. It's almost a little bit, it's definitely automatic for me now. I can talk to you and he's resisting and I can just, it happens without me thinking too much about it. But I'd like him to give, and you can get quite industrious with this. Give. Ready? Trot, 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 trot. So he wants to bring his head up. Good. Good. Boy. Oh, boy. So I had to give him a little tap up to get him moving. And once I did, you will be able to look and see he went against the bit, and I just try. It's a little bit hard to coordinate everything, but it's something you can do and it will get better and better. So when he gives nicely to the bit and he's going forward, you can actually then ask him to trot, but still keep his head there. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. And, oh, good boy. So you might be able to see in there that he was against my hand a few times. What you do one way, you should do the other if you can. So I'll just turn him around. Ask him to give, walk on. Ready? Trot, trot. Trot, trot. That's a boy. Heads up, down, up. No, he's against there. Good boy. Good. And, oh, good boy. Like that. That's 3 simple exercises you can do with your horses, which will actually pay dividends when you're riding them under saddle. Take 5 minutes before every ride and just see how you go with those. Make sure you let me know in the comments how you're going. You'll be surprised over a short amount of time how quick your horse will get much better with that. Today with what we were doing, we broke our training down and we didn't teach the horse more than one thing at a time. And then yes, we put 2 things together, head down, go forward. I explained that and 2 other principles that I keep in my mind when I'm training my horse in the guide that is linked in the description of this video. If you want to, you can go there, download it, have a read of it and let me know what you think. I definitely keep those principles in my head at all times when I'm working with horses. Thanks for watching. See you next week.